Good morning. Good morning, good evening, good wherever you are. And if you are watching the replay of this, good wherever you are. Hope everybody's doing well today. We're going to wait a second for people to pour into the chat-a-tat-tat. So this could take a second. And there we are. Good morning, whoa, baby. Good morning, man. How's it going? So we're going to be taking questions. As always, this is Sunday streaming, so get your questions ready whenever you're ready, and I will be happy to help them. I should be on for probably the next 30 to 40 minutes. It's a bit of a short week, simply because I am super busy today, and we're getting ready for the holidays. So I hope everybody is having a happy Sunday morning. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. And yeah, Jude York, good morning. Like I've said, hope everybody's doing well. It is a beautiful Sunday morning here in Orlando, and I have a crap ton of work to do, so it's gonna be fun. But questions, if you've got any questions for me, this is what this show is about. If this is your first time watching this show, then shoot them to me in the chat, and I will be more than happy to answer them. So let me go ahead and post this to the Facebook. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody ready for the holidays? Some turkey and some Thanksgiving grub on. I'm dying to eat some Thanksgiving turkey. Okay. Questions. But yeah, you got any questions for me? Let me know what you want to talk about in the chat. Right now, I am playing Pokemon Sun and Moon. I've been playing that for like the past few days, and that's been just destroying my time this past weekend and all that other stuff. Do you think an Infinite Crisis Omnibus reprint will happen soon? DC has been really good recently about republishing a lot of stuff in Ultimate Collections and in trade paperbacks and things like that. An Infinite Crisis Omnibus, it's possible, especially with the Justice League movie coming out next year. So yeah, definitely think that's a possibility. Not 100% certain. Omnibuses are really hard to predict, especially with DC and Marvel. But a good guess and a good hint as to what will get reprinted is if a movie's coming out. It's always if a movie's coming out, then that is always a great indication that chances are you're going to get a reprint of something. We've got Infinity War coming out, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get an Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus reprint in the near future, things like that. So, but like I said, always a good indication of if we are going to get a reprint of something is if there's a movie coming out or a TV show coming out. I'm genuinely surprised we have not gotten an Iron Fist by Matt Fraction Omnibus reprint listed already for next year, considering, hey, you know, the TV show's premiering, I think it's March, May of next year, something like that. And then you've got the Defenders after that. So I'm really surprised about that. Top 5 Marvel now. Thanks in advance. Ooh, good choices. Well, if we're talking about current Marvel now, we're talking about when they first rebooted Marvel now, because there's 2 different Marvel nows. I'm going to do when they first rebooted Marvel now, because that's when I was really paying attention to a lot of that stuff. But it would have to be, number 1 would probably be Miss Marvel. Number 2 would probably be Jason Aaron's Thor. Number 3, that's really a tough one. Hickman's New Avengers. Hickman's New Avengers was great. Number 4, his Avengers run, and number 5, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. I really like what they were doing with Miles Morales on Ultimate Spider-Man. Is the Rachel Rising Omnibus really as good as everybody says? I don't have the Omnibus. I have Rachel Rising in trade paperbacks, but Rachel Rising is awesome. It's a fantastic series. If you've never read Rachel Rising, I highly recommend you do. If you're into horror and witchcraft and things like that, it's a really, really great murder mystery story that delves really deep into like demons and stuff, and it gets really dark and really fucked up, but still a fantastic little series that I always recommend people check out. I'm feeling good today. Let's keep the questions going, guys. Are the X-Men going to Marvel? That seems to be the $1 million question. Are the X-Men going to Marvel? Well, let's take a look at it. Marvel right now is in a position where they are the biggest movie company in the world. Hands down, with Disney backing them up. Marvel are kings right now of the box office. Everything they put out pretty much turns into gold. Fox's X-Men just tanked really badly. Age of Apocalypse was not a critical darling. It did okay in the box office in the grand scheme of things. Didn't do that great. They have a TV series coming out for Legion. And they have Old Man Logan. Now, Old Man Logan will be the end of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Honestly, if I were Marvel and if I were Fox, especially if I was Fox, look, Wolverine is the linchpin of our universe and the Fox movie universe thing. Wolverine is that key. They tried doing a movie without Wolverine before. We saw how well that worked for them. X-Men First Class, as great as a film as it was, and it happens to be actually my favorite of the X-Men films, it didn't do well in the box office. Part of that, I think, is because there's no Wolverine, there's no marketing, there's no face behind it. Again, Age of Apocalypse didn't do that well in the box office. There was really no Wolverine in that film. So, I think what Fox and Marvel are probably going to... They've sat down. You know they have. They're probably going to sit down and go, look, Hugh Jackman's retiring. This is a great place to jump off. This is a great place to work out a deal between us. Can we incorporate the X-Men into your universe? Can we cut a deal with you like we did, like Sony did with you guys? And it's very much a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if sometime next year we hear that the X-Men are going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially now since the Inhumans, you know, they were hyping the Inhumans up. They were saying the Inhumans are the next big thing. Can't wait for the Inhumans movie. They're getting pushed to a TV show. So what does that tell you? That means that maybe Marvel and Fox have worked out a deal, especially now that the X-Men are going to be more prominently focused in the Marvel comics now. You know, we're getting the Yellow and Blue series. We're getting a whole bunch of different X-Men series that are coming out. Iceman's getting his own series. So it makes me question, are the X-Men coming back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It wouldn't surprise me. They'd probably strike a deal with Fox and be like, look, here you go. Take it. Do what you want to do. We're getting a Legion TV show. Marvel owns the rights to the TV stuff. So somebody had to cut a deal there. And I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to be really good. Best comic of all time, in my opinion, Preacher. Hands down, Preacher. Preacher is not for everybody, though. It is very lewd, very violent, and very, very grandiose. And me being agnostic, atheist, then it really was the perfect series for me. Next one. I think Marvel may be trying to set up the Inhumans as their next... They've been trying to do that for years, and it hasn't taken. You know, they've been pushing the Inhumans in comics and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nobody's taken to them. Nobody really gives a damn about the Inhumans, except for me and, like, Giovanni. We love the Inhumans. We fucking love it. I love the Inhumans. But mainstream audience, they just don't care. They don't give a damn about them. I think Marvel... Okay. Will Thor Ragnarok, will there be a Mighty Thor Omnibus reprint? It's possible. I would bet more on getting a Planet Hulk reprint in hardcover or something like that, or a World War Hulk reprint, seeing as Hulk is apparently such a prominent role in that story. So that's going to be really interesting. For those of you that didn't see Riley's last stream, Jeff York, one of the, I believe that is his name, if I'm butchering that I apologize. One of the head guys at the Marvel Collected Editions department said that he was working currently on an omnibus for late next year that weaves in through an event. It's an event omnibus. Fingers crossed it's a Planet Hulk, World War Hulk omnibus. Fingers crossed. I'm really hoping for that. But a lot of people are saying that they're thinking it's going to be Shadowland. I hope not. I hated Shadowland. I thought Shadowland was a trash event. Really don't want to see that. So yeah, let's keep going. I've read Invincible. Jax, hey Lewis, just wanted you to know you're doing a mistake when you're not reading Invincible. Kirkman said he's going to finish out. Yeah, I'm aware Kirkman's finishing the role. I've read Invincible up to probably about 110, 115, something like that. I just need to catch up on it. I know they're doing omnibuses of them, like the Walking Dead compendium style trade paperbacks. I'm going to catch up with that. So I've read Invincible. Invincible's a really great series. It's really fun. It's probably, there are times when it's the best thing that Kirkman has written, and there are times when I'm like, Walking Dead is probably the best thing that he's written. So it goes back and forth with me. You know, it varies, if you will. Let's go back. Let's see what. Did I buy the Doctor Strange Oath hardcover yesterday? No, I did not. However, I worked out a trade with somebody in the Omnibus Facebook group where I traded. I've got the Guardians of the Galaxy Omnibus on the way because it was part of a really super sweet deal where I bought the Guardians of the Galaxy Omnibus and the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus for $100. I got both of them for $100 flat. So I'm like, well, I don't need the Guardians of the Galaxy Omnibus because a lot of that shit is getting reprinted in other collected editions in the next few months. So let me see what I can figure out. I'll work out a trade or sell it to somebody. So somebody contacted me yesterday saying, hey, look, I've got Doctor Strange the Oath hardcover. I've got a few of them because I know there's people in the group that they weren't able to go to their comic shop or their local comic shop didn't have them. So I said, all right, cool, whatever. Like, how much do you want for it? He said, I'm just asking retail price because in the Omnibus group, you can only sell for retail price. So I was like, you know what? I've got a Guardians of the Galaxy Omnibus. Do you want to do a trade for it? He said, yeah. So I'm like, awesome. So I'm getting the Oath hardcover for nothing, really. Really excited to get it. I'm really excited to dive into it. I've seen what it looks like. It actually looks really nice. Would I pay $40 for it? No, not really. I don't think it's worth $40 from what I've seen, but I'll crack it open and I'll do something. I'll do like a video with it. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they bought the Oath hardcover. The Oath is it's arguably the best Doctor Strange story that has ever been written. It's written by Brian K. Vaughan and art by Marcos Martin, and it is a fantastic little mini series that I would just love for them to come back and write Doctor Strange for the rest of their life. Do I think it's worth $40? Based on what I've seen, no. I think you're paying way too much. 30, that's pushing it. 25, absolutely. Favorite manga? I've answered this before. My favorite manga is hands down, has and always will be 20th Century Boys. Awesome series. It's only about 27 volumes, so manga-wise, I know a lot of comic book guys, they hear 27 volumes. I'm like, that's a lot. But manga-wise, 20th Century Boys is a really, really small run. It's really good. It's very compact, and it all closes all together. The Monster Men are coming, aka something as interesting as the Court of Owls. I don't know too much about the Monster Men. I know we're getting a Monster Bus pretty soon. I haven't been following too much of what Marvel's doing lately, simply because I've fallen off. 20th Century Boys is 24 volumes. My mistake. Mainly because I'm not the biggest fan of what Marvel's pushing out right now. I'm still reading Miss Marvel. I'm still reading the Thor series. Still reading a few things here and there, but for the most part, I've dropped off a lot of Marvel books. I've cut off a lot of Marvel stuff. Yeah, One Piece is 80 volumes. It's absolutely ridiculous. For those of you that are wondering, I am playing currently Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's been fun. So that is what my morning has been going into doing. Really fun game. Me and my fiance, we went out at the midnight and we picked up Pokemon. She got Moon, and I got Sun. How is Batman Ego? Batman Ego is really good. How big is my to-read pile? My to-read pile is insanely big to the point where I don't think I'll ever catch up to it. In terms of omnibuses, in terms of hardcovers, trade paperbacks, collections, I work a full-time job. Would I love to do this full-time? Absolutely. I would love to be able to do this as my job full-time. However, I can't. I can't. And you know what's crazy about it? If a third of my subscribers were to donate at least $1, just $1 a month, I would be able to do this full time. Because I only need about $2 grand a month, and I'd be fine. But you know, I'll get there eventually, in like 40 years. um, oh, how big is your rip? Are you gonna release your Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1 review? My Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1 review will go out tomorrow for Manga Mondays. That is what I do now. On Mondays, I'm doing a review for mangas. And yeah, my fiance actually took Tokyo Ghoul to her job today to read. So I'm going to read that this afternoon, record this afternoon, and that'll go up tomorrow morning. When are you going to release? Okay, best character of all time in comics. Man, that's so subjective. That's really difficult to answer because my favorite superhero has been and will probably always be Daredevil. However, I think the most important and most prominent character right now in comics is definitely Kamala Khan. I think Miss Marvel is the most important figure in comic books right now, and G. Willow Wilson is crushing it. And I think I've said this before like 1,000 times. The reason I think she is so important and such a prominent character, especially today, is because she is a Muslim. She is a Muslim American. Her family is they're Muslim. That is definitely a demographic that is underrepresented today in the media, and a lot of really fucked up portrayals are portrayed in the media of that community. It's so sad. It really is. But you have a great character like Kamala Khan. It is a great representation of a lot of people out there that are feeling underrepresented. And that's why I think she is the most important character that Marvel has right now. Should I read Cowboy Bebop first before watching it? I've actually heard the complete opposite. I've heard you watch Cowboy Bebop then read it because I've heard the manga is not that great, which is weird considering everything, you know. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the anime came before the manga of Cowboy Bebop. I read Tokyo Ghoul with Attack. Gonna read it today, I think. You got Tokyo Ghoul with Attack on Titan. I would recommend, based on I've read a little bit of Tokyo Ghoul so far. I would recommend Tokyo Ghoul over Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is good, but you know. Hey man, I don't know much about Teen Titans. Is it worth the read? I'm 30, so just wondering. Man, your age has no bearing on the comics you read. Age is just a number in my mind. You know, I still read comics that are designed for kids. You know, there are these nice little hardcover editions called Cowboy that I believe Archaea is printing out that are great kid comic books for kids. The Calvin and Hobbes series, fantastic series. You know, age is just a number. You don't have to worry about it. But do I think Teen Titans is worth a read? Yeah, Jeff Johns' Teen Titans run is absolutely worth a read. Jeff Johns' Teen Titans run is a fantastic book that I recommend anybody read. Let's see, Lewis, have you read Lone Wolf and Cub? Looks interesting. Feedbacks on the Facebook group is positive, but it is an investment. I've never read Lone Wolf and Cub. However, I have heard, like you have, that Lone Wolf and Cub is fantastic. Do you think that the ever-increasing popularity of the MCU will eventually lead to us becoming burnt out on movies, by extension, the comics? The comics will always be the comics. The films are a different bag altogether. Do the films impact comic book readers? Yes and no. You do have the occasional comic book reader you do have the occasional person that has never read a comic book that they go into the films and they go, holy shit, this is awesome. I want to go downstairs to my local comic shop, in my case, because my comic book shop is in a mall and there's a movie theater upstairs. Holy shit, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to, you know, buy the comics for this film. That rarely happens. That really, really rarely does happen. What I think is going to end up happening is, as the years go on, people are going to start seeing the Marvel formula. The Marvel formula is starting to get a bit tired. And I think Doctor Strange was really the first instance where people are starting to go, look, we know this formula already. We know how this is going to play out. It's time to change things up a little bit. Which is part of the reason why I enjoyed the ending of Doctor Strange, because it was a little bit different than your traditional Marvel beat 'em up. I think in a few years, fans are going to start going, okay, like we see what you're going to do. We see, we know where this is going, traditional beat 'em up, all this other stuff. We know the heroes aren't going to die. We know at the end of the day, the heroes are going to be fine. And then that's going to be the point where fans are going to start going, maybe I'll wait like a week or two to go see this Marvel film or something like that. But burnout, I don't think burnout is going to happen anytime soon. I think what's going to end up happening is it's going to go the way of the Western, where comic book films are going to be, they're going to start being shown less and less in theaters. Instead of getting like 4 or 5 like we're getting right now, we might get 2 or 3, 2 or 3 a year, which is perfectly fine, because this summer was ridiculous and it was rife with just comic book trash. It was rife with films that just were not that good. And yes, I am counting Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad and, the X-Men Apocalypse films as comic book trash, because they weren't that good. I'm sorry. I personally did not like those films. I didn't think they were that good. That's just my opinion. That's just my 2 cents. And if you hate me, that's perfectly fine. And I got so much shit for that Suicide Squad review. I got a death threat. Somebody threatened to kill me over the Suicide Squad review. Fucking get a life, asshole. Jeez, over a damn review. So I see it more as a few years from now, people will start kind of falling off a little bit. And you've got, the hardcore fans that are going to stick around no matter what. And they're going to see every Marvel film, every DC film, and all that other stuff. On the off chance, though, that Infinity War is a bomb, that let's say everything goes horrible, Infinity War 1 and 2 are fucking terrible films, that is when you are going to start seeing people drop off like crazy. And I mean like crazy, because you got to think about it. They've been building Infinity War for 10 years almost. If Infinity War is a bomb, wow, then you're going to start seeing people drop off. Favorite comic book artist, that would be Darwin Cook when he was still alive. May he rest in peace. Living comic book artist would probably be Mike Mignola. That is my boy. Love Mike Mignola. Awesome guy. Best moment in the history of comics. Dude, there's so many great moments in the history of comics. My favorite moment in the history of comics is, damn, I don't know. That's really, really challenging. Because I'm thinking back on Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run, and there's like 3 or 4 moments where I'm like, oh my gosh. But there are really a lot of moments. I can't just pick one. I got my mom to begin reading comics. So I let her borrow New 52 Wonder Woman. That's awesome. I'm happy she's reading comics. Keep the industry alive, man. I do think Justice League and Wonder Woman have potential. I do too. We're already seeing problems though with The Flash, with 2 directors already dropping out, so that's not a good sign for that film. Justice League, I'm cautiously optimistic. I've been burned on DC films, Batman vs. Superman. The trailer was like really good. Everybody was hyped up. I was hyped up. I was like, wow, this actually looks like it could be pretty good. And then I thought it was terrible. Suicide Squad, that Bohemian Rhapsody trailer, that was fucking awesome. Everybody was like, wow, they might actually pull this off. Suicide Squad might be, their Guardians of the Galaxy. Wasn't that great of a film. And now they've got this extended cut where it's only like 5 extra minutes, and the bastards still cut out most of the Joker scenes in the extended cut. Can you believe that? And they have the balls. They have the tenacity to say, this is the extended cut, and lie to your face. Wow. God, man, that pissed me off watching that extended cut. I was like, where the fuck are the other Joker scenes that we've seen in the trailer? This isn't really an extended cut. You added like 5 extra minutes? Oh my god. Was it like something dumb, like 11 extra minutes or something like that? Oh my god. I was so mad. No, DC can still save their films. They can still save their films because comic book readers and comic book movie watchers are a very forgiving bunch. We forgive a lot of stuff, and we're willing to let a lot of things go by. Because we're used to it. We read comics. We're used to them screwing things up and then going, look, we messed up. Here's the retcon. We're used to that stuff. I think it's more of a pride thing. They don't want to let it go. They want to stick with this grim, dark universe that Zack Snyder started, when all they need to do is Flashpoint that bitch. That's all they need to do. Justice League Flashpoint, boom, you start over. New universe. Hey, we fucked up. We're sorry. Here's the new universe. More positive, more bright. Batman doesn't go on a fucking killing spree with a machine gun and kill like 13 people in a warehouse. No. No, I'm sorry. And I really don't want to hear this, well, Batman used to kill in the comics. Yeah, but the characters evolved. Characters evolved a long time ago. You know, that was like 3 issues out of how many years? Incredible Hulk used to need a machine to turn into the Hulk. Things change. You know? Let's see, what else? I wonder if eventually, as you say, we'll fall off watching superhero movies. How long again until we see a superhero renaissance? I mean, after Batman and Robin, it wasn't really until Blade that we saw. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a real long time before the general movie-going audience falls off. Unless again, I'm talking crazy conspiracy theorist. Unless, in my opinion, Infinity War is a bomb. If Infinity War is a bomb, then chances are it's going to be a while before the audience really, really trusts a comic book film. Because like I said, so much is hyped around Infinity War. They've been hyping Thanos for holy shit, how many years now? It's been a long time, for like 6-7 years. And if it's a bomb, man, if that stepdad finally comes off his chair and it's a stumble, then whew, that's not going to be good. That's great. Thanks for the advice. Did you reckon without actually naming this political? Sure you don't want that. That comics still somewhat reflect the political environment we live in. Yes. Read Transmetropolitan. All you have to do is read Transmetropolitan and you absolutely fucking see what's going on in the United States with our politics. Absolutely. The Smiler? Come on. I'm telling you. Guys, if you are looking for almost a beat-for-beat representation of what's going on right now in the United States politics, read Transmetropolitan. And then come back to me. That's pretty much what's going on. It is crazy how much Transmetropolitan was able to predict a lot of this stuff. Thoughts on Daredevil Born Again? Great place to read Daredevil. It's a fantastic story. Look at my review on the companion omnibus. It's in there. Daredevil Born Again is one of the best Daredevil stories ever written. It's really good. Maybe they still can justify Batman's rage thing with the new Batman movie, like he is so dark after what happened to Jason Todd. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to justify it because the death of Jason Todd is what finally broke him. Here's my thing. Okay. You see him killing guys in a warehouse, right, in that film? And then in Suicide Squad, he rescued Harley Quinn. Why? Why? He didn't have to save her. You know, he's already killing people. Why did he save Harley Quinn? Doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah. Have I read about the Running with the Devil initiative from Marvel? No, I haven't. When it comes to DC using the Flashpoint solution, you need to consider that most moviegoers are not comic book fans, and this will confuse the fuck out of them. I want it, but it can't happen. I disagree. I think it can happen. We saw Days of Future Past. They did a time travel story, and they retconned their own universe. And that was one of the most widely received and highly successful X-Men films. If Flashpoint can happen, Flashpoint can definitely happen. It's time travel. People buy up time travel. Is the Age of Apocalypse companion omnibus good? Have not read it. I, in fact, have never read Age of Apocalypse. I've never read it. That's something you should ask Riley. Again, X-Men questions, Riley is your guy. He's more of the X-Men guy than me. But why would the general movie-going audience want to fall off watching movies like Doctor Strange or Ant-Man or Captain America Civil War? The movies were great. They were great. But all it takes is a few bad strings of films, and then the general movie-going audience is like, well, you know, they used to be great. Marvel used to be great. Yeah? It doesn't take much, honestly. You know, we tend to be very fickle, and we tend to go with the crowd. Is the Age of Apocalypse companion omnibus? And why would DC Flashpoint its movies? Haven't these movies made piles of money overseas? Yes, but they've underperformed. Every single time they have underperformed. Batman vs. Superman, underperformed. Suicide Squad, it did really well. It did extremely well. It still technically underperformed for their expectations. And it wasn't a critical darling. They are looking for a critical darling. And I think Suicide Squad was more of a reaction of fans and teeny boppers and things like that going, you know what, fuck critics. We're going to go see this movie. We're going to go support it. Because critics don't know what they're doing. What characters would you give the Netflix show to if you had to pick? I love a Moon Knight show. A Moon Knight show would be that'd be so good. I've been reading a lot of Shang-Chi lately, so I would love to see Shang-Chi get his own show, and it would be really cool if they could pull that off. That would be so great. Hey, hardcovers, Batman and Robin from the New 52 worth reading. Also, what's your opinion on Tom King's Batman? Yes, Batman and Robin from the New 52 is absolutely worth reading. Peter Tomasi writes one of the greatest father and son relationships I have ever read. It is so great. I believe it's Peter Tomasi, if I'm not mistaken. If I messed up on that, call me out on the chat. But Batman and Robin from the New 52 is great. He nails the dynamic between Damian Wayne and between Bruce Wayne like no other writer before, except for Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison was the one that established the character of Damian Wayne really into the universe. So he writes him really well, but even then, we never really got that sense of like father and son click that we get in the Batman and Robin New 52 run. Have I read Claremont and Miller's Wolverine? No, I have not. I apologize for that. We might not, I agree, a rule. Or maybe Flashpoint is already in play with Flash's brief appearance in Justice League. That would be some Nolan level stuff. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't. How much would it surprise people if at the end of Justice League they decided a Flashpoint? It would not surprise me. Because they already kind of introduced that little time travel element in the first Batman versus Superman movie. Where Flash comes back in time and he, for some reason, does a spirit walk and visits Bruce in his dreams, which makes no fucking sense considering the Flash isn't able to. Not getting into it, but he technically already did it. So people would buy it. I really do think people would buy it. I picked up the first JSA Omnibus based on your review. Does the high standard continue throughout the other two Omnibus? It gets better. It gets a lot better. Once Jeff Johns is able to write the story by himself, because throughout the whole first half of that run, he doesn't write the story by himself. As it goes along, the reins get taken off of, and Jeff Johns is actually able to go, okay, now I get to write the story that I want to write. So about halfway through the JSA Omnibus Volume 2, he's left to do whatever he wants. And it is so good. It gets so much better once that picks up. Now, in the third volume, I think it's about a quarter of the way in, Jeff Johns leaves the book and somebody else takes over, and that's when the book starts dipping in quality a lot. So the third volume is a bit of a slog, but once Jeff Johns comes back, it gets a lot better again. Running with the Devil is an initiative that's going to launch 3 new Daredevil-related titles, Kingpin, Bullseye, and Elektra. The main goal of Running with the Devil is to expand Daredevil's mythos and, Elektra books, for the most part, they don't last. Bullseye book, I don't think we've ever gotten a Bullseye book. And isn't there a Kingpin mini right now that's going on right now? So, I mean, I'll read it. I'll read it simply because Daredevil's my favorite character, and I love all of his supporting characters and things like that. But for the most part, not really that crazy about it. What are the creative teams on that? I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked too much into it. But, the whole Daredevil interconnected universe is like, no, it's Daredevil. Daredevil's the main linchpin. He fights these guys. And he's in love with Elektra. But I'll check it out. Going back to to an earlier question, one of the best moments in comic history has to be in the early Stan Lee and Steve Ditko run, when Peter Parker is getting just destroyed. He's getting piled on, and he's got all of these water pipes on him, and then he summons the strength to be able to push off all these water pipes so he can help Aunt May. Oh, fantastic moment. Hey, man, thanks for the recommendation. Scalped is fantastic. Of course. Happy to help, man. Scalped is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best crime books ever. I love Scalped. I wonder how many volumes you're in, though. Is this really live? If it is, can you say Justina? Hey, Justina. I've been on a Jeff Lemire kick recently, and I'm looking forward to After Death, even if he is only doing the art. Will you pick it up, even if it sounds prose heavy? Yeah, I will pick it up. After Death is a collaboration with Jeff Lemire and Scott Snyder, and supposedly like half of it is prose, half of it is comic book. It's a really, really arduous process. Apparently, they've been working on this for years, and I think it comes out next month, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking forward to it. Isn't the first issue like 80 pages long or something like that? Like, it is really prose heavy though. And I think a lot of people aren't aware of that. And when they go pick it up in their comic shop and see like, oh shit, page, where's the comic in this? They're gonna be really disappointed. Hey, no problem. From Malaysia, wow. You much of a Star Wars fan? I'm beyond excited for Rogue One. It looks like a real callback to the feeling that we all get when we saw A New Hope. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm looking forward to Rogue One. Although I'm expecting not many of those characters to make it out of Rogue One alive. I'm expecting at least a good 90% of those guys are going to die at the end of that film. They had to do reshoots because apparently the original cut for Rogue One was so dark that they wanted to lighten up a little bit. Favorite villain of all time? My favorite villain of all time is Doctor Doom. No, man, it goes, it goes back and forth all over the place. There's Magneto, there's Doctor Doom, there's so many great characters. It's a toss-up between Doctor Doom and Sinestro. And I completely forgot to put Doctor Doom on that like best villains video that I made a few months ago. Justina, you're not feeling well. I hope that you get better. I hope that whatever is ailing you right now, that you kick its ass, and that you'll be able to enjoy the rest of your week. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope that you are able to celebrate it with your friends, family, loved ones. If not, then hey, I just hope you get better and you're able to read some good-ass comics this week. So take care. Her star is really good. Her star is really good. Doctor Doom is great in Triumph and Torment. Peace. Take it easy, man. Would you agree, or somewhat, that manga at its best isn't often going to rival American comics at their best? That is a really, really good question. Manga, believe it or not, is actually the largest form of comic book style around the world. Manga around the world is far more popular than traditional American comics. They kick our ass in the medium that we pretty much created. Sales-wise and reaching people-wise, they are doing far better than what we are doing. However, they have their merits. It's really, it's difficult. You can't just say one is better than the other because of this or overall, because they have their strengths. Manga's weakness for me, at least for me, and not everybody will agree with me, is the long form storytelling that it takes fucking forever for a series to end. For most series to end. We're 80 volumes into One Piece. Somebody that's coming into manga and deciding, you know what, I want to read One Piece. They see 80 volumes of One Piece and they go, well, shit, how the fuck am I going to read 80 volumes of One Piece? I don't have the time for that. Whereas traditional American comics, it's more like, okay, well, there's these 10 volumes of Y the Last Man. Boom, I'm done. I've read all of Y the Last Man. I can move on to something else. Or, oh, great, this is a great jumping on point for Hulk. Awesome, I could just jump here and read Hulk. Manga is long-form storytelling. If you jump in the middle of Bleach, you're not going to know what the fuck is going on because they built up for years and years and years and years. Same thing with what I assume is One Piece. It's just a huge time investment. Now, at the same time, manga has that advantage where it's just basically one guy, the artist, and they keep telling the same story over and over again. So throughout the course of years and years and years, you can see a character evolve, you can see a character grow, and you can see a character change. Naruto is a perfect example of this. A lot of people my generation grew up with the character of Naruto. The manga series, if I'm not mistaken, just ended like this summer. People that grew up with Naruto grew up with the character as he grew up as well. So there is that sense of connection that you, in a way, don't get with traditional American comics because Hulk is never going to grow old. You know? Thor is never going to grow old. Captain Marvel's never going to grow. They're going to stay, for the most part, the same age. And I think in the manga, there's a lot more control over what you publish. You can publish pretty much whatever you want. You know, you're not held down by the same things as the Marvel Initiative or the DC Initiative, where publishers and editors are breathing down your ass to kind of do this crossover event. Mm. My predictions for Logan: swan song for Jackman's Wolverine, or another flop. It was a good trailer. It was a damn good trailer, and they've been hyping this up. They're saying it's going to be really good. It's rated R. I think it's hard because trailers lie. Trailers do lie. Look at Bohemian Rhapsody trailer for Suicide Squad. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be real good. I think it's going to be really, really good. Mainly because I really did like the first Wolverine film. Not, X-Men Origins Wolverine. That was a piece of shit. But the Wolverine film was really good, and they brought back that same crew to do this one, and they're very passionate about it. But I think it's going to be a very, very good film. Will it be this grandiose swan song that's going to be a tearjerker at the end? I don't know. I'm hoping it is. And based on that trailer alone, if they pull this off, and I'm talking, crazy paranoid, conspiracy theory, all that other stuff. If they pull this off, and if they nail the tone of what's in the trailer, and it is a swan song, it's a beautiful film, it's Wolverine's send-off, could be talking Oscar buzz at the end of next year. Wouldn't be the first comic book film that got Oscar buzz. Dark Knight got it. The odds of that happening are like super slim, but hey, it could happen. Can I rate the Mark Waid run on Daredevil up to 10? Oh, 8.5 out of 10 for the full run. It would have gotten higher, but that last stint where he's in California really took a dive for me. I didn't think it was as strong as when it first started. I mean, that's just, my mind. Yesterday was local comic shop day. Do you know if the variant hardcovers sold through that program end up actually? I'm not sure what you just wrote on that last one. Worth anything? Possible. I mean, all you have to do is look on eBay. They're not. It was a promotional event for local comic book shop there. Apparently, a lot of the Doctor Strange books. Let's take a look and see how much the local comic book shop day Doctor Strange book is going for that I just picked up. The Oath hardcover. Let's take a look. And whoa, yes, they are apparently. Apparently, there's one that's going for about $95 on eBay. Let's try local comic book shop day. Yeah, but that might change. The thing is, these are exclusive books that, yeah, wow, shit. $59.99, $70. Yeah, well, apparently they're selling pretty well online. And the thing is, a lot of people didn't participate. 4 out of 5 comic shops did not participate in local comic book shop day. So what does that tell you? That tells you that those Doctor Strange books, they might be worth something more in the future. Not guaranteed. Have you seen Hacksaw Ridge? No, I didn't. I didn't see it. I saw the trailer where he pretty much judo kicks like a grenade in midair. Like he Spider-Man kicks it. I was like, wow. Okay. Is Remender's Punisher work any good? I'm getting close to having read everything he has done, especially when I get to the horror omnibus thing. I've never read Remender's Punisher book. I've heard mixed things. I've heard it's a lot of fun, especially when you get into the Frankencastle stuff. But I've heard that if you're the person that takes Punisher like super seriously and you're expecting like this serious Garth Ennis examination of the character, then it's not for you. If you want a more lighthearted and fun Punisher, then yeah, go with that. Okay, 5 more minutes, you guys. This has been fun, but I have to do laundry, get groceries, and work on videos. You want to know the benefit of being a teacher is that I have this week off, so I don't have to cram 6 or 7 videos in one day. Thank you. That means I can spread it out throughout the week, and I'll be perfectly fine because I'll have a little bit of extra time. Have I read any Dread or 2000 AD in general? No, I have not. I've never dived into the Dread universe. I have friends that have, and they say Dread is awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just excited to get the kind of slightly off topic, but I'm excited to get the Akira box set next year. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so great. You teach? What do you teach? I work with kids that have special needs. I teach kids that have autism. That is my daytime job. So that is what I do during the day to make ends meet, to make money. Doesn't pay the best, but I love what I do. And that's what counts, right? Great kids. Marvel or DC? Oh, man, it varies. Right now, I'm a DC boy. But growing up, most of my life, I was a Marvel kid. I love last week Omnibus episode. Total flashback to all the stuff I used to read and the crap that was out in the 90s. Yeah, right? Oh, man. That was... If you didn't see last week's live stream with Riley, Jess, and I, you are missing out. That was one of the funnest live streams we've done so far. And it was just a blast. Honestly, the whole thing was hilarious, and it was so much fun. Is the Akira hardcover set coming out next year? Yes, it is. What are your views on the X-Men movies getting a reboot after Logan and Deadpool 2's new director? I think it's going to happen. I think it really will. It's only a matter of time for the reboot for the Fox universe. Or they'll go smaller scale. They'll do more, not as grand in scale as X-Men films as they used to do. Deadpool was definitely the way for them to go. And Deadpool showed them that if you do it right, you can do a small budget rated R film. And if you hire a team that's passionate about it and that's really creative about it, you can do a really good job and it'll sell well. It's not just a matter of sticking the character of Deadpool on the screen. It's a matter of honoring the character and actually getting the essence of what that character is. And I think that's what they really did. And they raked in money for it. Is just what you expected him to be like based on his posts and personality in the group. I think he's the nicest guy. Jess, look, here's the thing about Jess. That guy is, without a doubt, probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Honestly, hands down, one of the sweetest and most genuine. And there are no words for me to to talk about Jess because, without getting into too personal, a few days ago, Jess really helped me out on a tough bind. And I am forever grateful to Jess. But he is without a doubt one of the nicest guys that you can ever meet. Hands down. Love that dude. Did you hear the rumors of Latveria's location pics deleted off of Twitter by the Infinity War directors? Ooh, if that's true. If it is true, that means we could be getting a Fantastic Four. God, I would hope so. I really want the Fantastic Four to be in the Marvel Universe simply because it expands the grander universe. Not so much for the Fantastic Four themselves, even though I love the characters, but for the villains. For all the villains that they could do. They could use Annihilus. They could do Annihilation. They could use Galactus. There are so many villains they can't use right now because of the fact that they are tied up with the Fantastic Four. Ugh. Do I watch Doctor Who? I tried. It's not for me. Alright, guys. So I think I am going to end up calling this unless you got any more last-second questions. Do about another 2 minutes. If you got any last-second questions, I'm going to do my spiel to wrap this up. And yeah. So yeah, you can find me here. If this is your first time checking out this channel, check them out. Check out my videos and stuff like that. Guys, help the brother out. The holidays are coming. I understand that. Money is tight. But for the price of $1 cheeseburger, you get to help me out. You get to help this channel out. And you get to help me to keep doing what I'm doing. Patreon.com/hardcover reviews. And you get some exclusive videos to boot. So check out that stuff, guys. If a third of you donated, I would be able to do this full time. But, you know, I understand. Thank you guys so much. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter. Love you. and all that other good stuff. Animal Man or Doom Patrol for my next book, Animal Man. And as always, bye.